The latest health check on corporate Japan demonstrates some mild positivity actually. Stay tuned, we'll discuss the detail. You may remember we recently discussed the private market survey, which is the Purchasing Managers Index, looking at sentiment, it's looking at new orders, and it's looking at sales of businesses. And like many regions, Japan is seeing strength in services but challenges in the manufacturing components. Now, one of the key areas in where they're seeing challenges is in the exports, and one of the key export partners is China. Yesterday we had the Tankan survey, which is conducted by the Bank of Japan, so has a lot of credibility behind it. And what we're seeing there is services, again, remain okay, but actually we're seeing a bit of an improvement in terms of manufacturing. A number of businesses who produce machinery for other companies in areas such as textile, ceramics, metal processing, they're actually seeing a bit of an improvement in terms of their orders which are starting to come through, which is very encouraging actually. And businesses are looking to spend, to invest in order to grow. So capital expenditure plans are up 10.6% for the full year to the end of March of next year. So that's quite encouraging and should lead to an improvement in the private surveys which we're seeing. It's particularly encouraging because all of this survey came at a time when there was a great deal of uncertainty around the future of interest rates in Japan. It came at the beginning of August before the Bank of Japan started to backpedal and started to quell their language in terms of the speed and the magnitude of interest rate hikes which we can expect to see from Japan. And also it came ahead of the big stimulus announcement from China last week. The stimulus announcement was the biggest we've seen since the pandemic. It covers everybody from those who are buying second homes, those who have existing mortgages, and businesses who need to lend in order to fund their expansion or even support the stock market. It's very broad, it's very wide, and it's meaningful, and it's driving a lot of positivity around the future of China and internationally as a key manufacturing hub for the world. We've seen the stock market on screen. You can see Japanese stocks are down. This is reflecting the moves we saw early on Monday morning as we saw Ishida, who has been elected as Prime Minister, who has generally a bit more of a hawkish stance, which in essence means he would likely be supportive of the Bank of Japan raising interest rates from here in order to bring inflation towards the target. So that was a bit unexpected by the markets in terms of the new elected Prime Minister. But we've seen stock markets which have rebounded marginally overnight, around 2% in Japan there. So you'll see that on the screens tomorrow. Speaking of central banks, we had Powell yesterday who really underpinned his view that there is scope for interest rates to come down between now and the end of the year. He guided to 0.25% cuts, having got on the front foot, making a larger 0.5% cut at the recent meeting there. So a lot of central bank focus at this point in time, and we'll keep you up to date on all of these developments through the course of the coming weeks. So 3 key takeaways. Tankan survey showing an improvement. This should lead to an improvement in the purchasing managers, being the private market sector survey. Seen a bit of a recovery in the Japanese stock market overnight, and Powell is still leaving the door open for further interest rate cuts between now and the end of the year. Thank you for watching.
This video is not a recommendation or personal financial advice. With investing, your capital is at risk. Investments can fluctuate in value and you may get back less than you invest.